Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. If you would like to support me or the channel in any way, you can do so by liking this video and subbing to the channel. Also, hit that bell and turn on post notifications, man, because sometimes YouTube just be tripping. Let's talk bodybuilding. So today, we will be revisiting the 1994 Mr. Olympia, and at the end of this video, I will be answering the question, was Shawn Ray robbed in 1994? Now, before we get into this video, I know a lot of people say you have to be there to see Dorian in person. Pictures never do him justice, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to judge based off of what we see. And you guys can argue with me in the comment section below about how shredded and how much better Dorian looks in person. I'm not saying I disagree, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to take a look at the photos. So, taking a look at the front relaxed pose, if you were just to ask me, honestly, I would go with Shawn Ray just because he looks more balanced, more symmetrical overall. We're going to talk about Kevin Levrone a little bit just because he's a legend and he's up here, but it doesn't look like he's all the way into this pose. In all honesty, Dorian's midsection just looks a little, don't know if it's necessarily wide or distended, but Dorian's lats are crazy, and it almost makes me want to go towards Dorian, but Shawn Ray seems to have bigger quads also in proportion to his physique, so definitely in his front relaxed pose, I like Shawn Ray. And we don't have the quarter turns, but we are going to take a look at the back relaxed. And Dorian's back is just insane, man. So much detail, just so many different muscles. The muscles that you see on Dorian's back is like, it's like no one else even has those muscles. I don't even know what some of those are, but Dorian also isn't, this shot of Dorian isn't taken from the best angle. And if you would just ask me personally, I would like Shawn Ray in his pose, but I could definitely see him not winning it. Just because I like him doesn't mean the IFBB judges would award him in his pose. So, in all honesty, I do believe the judges would award this rear relax to Dorian Yates, but me personally, I like Shawn Ray. So, I guess it's kind of 1-1 in the relaxed pose. And let's take a look at the front double bicep. So, taking a look at this front double bicep, and in all honesty, the Dorian Yates Shawn Ray comparison is going to be kind of like apples versus oranges because they have two completely different physiques. Shawn Ray is more shapely, you know, genetically gifted. Dorian Yates is more big, hard, and grainy. But take a look at Dorian Yates' left bicep, guys. He did tear his bicep, and it is something that's kind of glaring. To me, this is an obvious win for Shawn Ray. He just looks amazing. His proportions are insane for his physique. Some of his body parts, like his arms, seem to be around they don't look to be, now Dorian's arms do seem, Dorian's right bicep is bigger than Shawn Ray's, but overall in this pose, I would take Shawn Ray. Dorian's midsection was tighter, he could be winning, but Shawn Ray is just amazing. And Kevin Levrone, he doesn't have the smallest midsection. His midsection is kind of wide. He does have great lats, but he just doesn't have the best V-taper in his front leg, so Kevin would be falling in last. And we have another front double comparison, and this was from their individual routines. And once again, yeah, guys, you can see Dorian Yates' midsection is just kind of distended. His left pec also looks like he has an issue with it. I don't believe he tore his pec, but if you guys look closely, his left pec seems to be drooping or something. But definitely, I do believe the IFBB judges would award this pose to Shawn Ray by far. I can't see Dorian Yates winning against Shawn Ray in this front double bicep. And on to the front lat spread pose. And this isn't the best angle for Dorian Yates, but we are going to look at another comparison. But taking a look at this comparison, I mean, honestly, Shawn Ray looks incredible. And for a shorter guy, I'm not sure if it's because the shorter guys are kind of pushing the weight and sometimes blowing out their midsection, but as of recent, shorter guys usually don't have great front lat spreads. But this is actually an amazing pose for Shawn Ray, man, and his quads just stick out so much to me. And before you guys just kill me in the comment section about fanboying, Shawn Ray is one of my favorites, but I will try to keep my bias out of this video. But Shawn Ray would not be Dorian Yates in a front lat spread, I don't believe, in any year, maybe even before Dorian went pro. Just in all honesty, Dorian arguably has the greatest front lat spread of all time. I'm not even sure if it's arguable, it may be guaranteed, but Kevin looks good in this pose as well. But with this picture being black and white, I can't really see his lats as a whole, so he could possibly be beating Shawn Ray, though, overall because of size. And once again, guys, here's a comparison from the individual routines, and it's not even close. Look at the lats of Dorian Yates, man. That's insane. The only person that reminds me somewhat of Dorian Yates with those hanging legs is a King Williams. If you guys see a King Williams front leg spread, his legs hang crazy low. But yeah, this is just insane. Shawn Ray can't compete with this front leg spread at all. Just like Dorian, in my opinion, couldn't compete with Shawn Ray in the front double bicep. So it's looking like a 1-1. It's looking pretty even, guys. And on to the side chest pose. And in all honesty, I don't really like the execution of Dorian Yates, either Shawn Ray. I don't like Shawn Ray's execution at all, and Dorian's arms honestly look very weak in this pose. Kevin Levrone would be winning this pose to me, but he's not in for the sake of this comparison. He's just here to talk about it because he's a legend, so why not? But between Dorian Yates and Shawn Ray, I mean, I would go with Dorian Yates just because I like his execution a little more, but I don't really think this is the best pose for him. Shawn Ray probably could best him in this pose, but I just don't like his execution. His chest does look insane. I believe he has his arms pulled up too high. I would like Shawn Ray to have his arms a little lower. But I would just go with Dorian Yates mostly because he is big in condition. Honestly, outside of his arms looking kind of small, I like his execution. So as far as Yates versus Ray, I would definitely take Dorian Yates. And on to the side tricep pose, and this Dorian isn't all the way into the pose, man, of course, but still, when you're on stage, and Terrence Ruffin says this, like when he poses, he tries his best to always, he tries his best to make sure that whenever the photographer snaps a photo, it always looks good, regardless if he's transitional in a pose or not. But this is one of the only side triceps of a comparison I could find from this 1994 Mr. Olympia. Kevin Levrone is winning his pose between these three, and it's not even close. But for the sake of this picture, Shawn Ray is beating Dorian Yates. But huge shout out to Tominator on YouTube. You guys should check him out. I watched his video on this, and he actually photoshopped this side tricep end of Dorian Yates because the last one was a little bit embarrassing. But wanted to throw that in the video. Yeah, Dorian Yates is winning his side tricep versus Shawn Ray, and it's not even close. I mean, it all depends on what you like. Me personally, Shawn Ray is shredded, but I believe he's just too small. I mean, at a point, I believe you are just too small. I believe if Shawn Ray was a little bigger, I could have gave it to him. But even though Dorian isn't the most aesthetic, Shawn Ray has a way better midsection. You can see pretty much all of his abs from the side, obliques, insane. But you could probably make a better argument for Kevin beating Dorian in his pose. And I honestly, you could go with Kevin Levrone in his pose because his midsection does look a lot tighter than Dorian Yates. But going over to the back poses, and we're actually going to start with the Christmas tree because I noticed I've never done a Christmas tree comparison before, but I looked up a couple comparisons of the 1994 Mr. Olympia just to kind of get some opinions to make sure I wasn't going crazy. And everyone seemed to go over the Christmas tree pose, but one reason I wanted to go over this, look at Dorian's legs. Look at I'm not sure if those are striations or what, but Dorian's legs just look insane. I'm pretty sure those are striations, man. Shawn Ray is good, and he has an amazing back, but he just doesn't have enough size. Glutes striated, hamstrings insane, but definitely goes to Dorian Yates, man. Those striations on the legs are just insane. And taking a look at the back double bicep, for the purpose of this photo, now we do have more than one. Now just starting off, Kevin Levrone is too soft in the lower body, looks like, to compete with these guys. But for the sake of this photo, go ahead and give me the dislike, guys. I do like Shawn Ray in this photo of them doing the back double bicep. Dorian's execution just doesn't look the best. He may not even be all the way into the pose, but it doesn't like he has his arms all the way out. I like Shawn Ray's balance. Shawn Ray lower body honestly may be a little bit overpowering, but for the sake of this photo, definitely like Shawn Ray. Now, in this back double comparison, this is not a competition. Dorian Yates wins by far. In the last photo, I believe it was just the execution, and that's why I was emphasizing for the sake of that photo, I like Shawn Ray. But in this photo, Dorian is insane, man, and arguably the best back of all time. Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, Phil Heath. I mean, you can kind of take your pick, but this back is just insane. The Christmas tree, the density, the detail, the conditioning. Shawn Ray is great as well, man. If he would have decided to get bigger, Maybe he could have been like a Dexter. Maybe he could have edged out and won a Mr Olympia. But Shawn Ray wanted to stay true to his size, and he didn't want to blow out his lines and all that. Once again, look at the back of Dorian Yates, man. So much dense, striated muscle. Just Shawn Ray just honestly, if it was anyone else, like Shawn Ray would match up great with Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, but Dorian Yates, man, this back is just insane. And I'm pretty sure around the time of Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman, that's probably where the saying of bodybuilding shows are won from the back came in, because when Dorian and Ronnie Coleman turned around, for Dorian it was more so the back, but for Ronnie Coleman, when the hamstrings and glutes came out, it was just game over, man. And it's just Dorian's in another league as far as the back. And we're gonna take a look at the rear lat spread. I like Shawn Ray in this pose, honestly. Overall, in this picture in particular, Dorian does look soft in the glutes and not as tight as Shawn Ray. Shawn Ray is nowhere near as wide as Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates is wide as a barn door. And Kevin doesn't like he's all the way into this pose, but I definitely like Shawn Ray in the rear lat spread. And taking a look at this ab and thigh shot, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this shot everywhere. It's a pretty famous photo, and this is where a lot of people want to make the argument for Shawn Ray beating Dorian Yates. And in all honesty, when I first looked at this photo, I was like, yeah, Shawn Ray probably should have beat Dorian Yates. But me looking at it now in this video, this V-taper is just overpowering. Yes, Shawn Ray has one of the best midsections of all time, maybe the best midsection, but that V-taper of Dorian Yates, and Dorian does have a pretty tight midsection, even though it isn't the smallest. And taking a look at this ab and thigh comparison, the V-taper of Dorian Yates, guys, it just stands out too much to me, because Dorian does have a good midsection. It isn't as good as Shawn Ray, but it isn't bad. It isn't necessarily protruding in the abs and thighs. Kevin Levrone is showing off his obliques a little side shot for him, like he's doing a little tango or something. But Shawn Ray does look incredible in this. It doesn't seem like he's flexing his quads too much. You can't see too much separation, but it's crazy, guys, because before actually watching this video, I liked Shawn Ray in the ab shots, but Dorian's V-taper is just too insane to me. And taking a look at the most muscular, and I don't believe this was a mandatory pose back then, so kind of just something to talk about, but Dorian was never too good in the most muscular poses, so I definitely would take Shawn Ray. He honestly just looks like a freak. The arms matter a lot in the most muscular, and Dorian doesn't necessarily have the best arms. He doesn't have the bubbliness, the 3D effect that Shawn Ray has, and Shawn Ray looks like he's honestly just about to explode. And we're going to take a look at this other most muscular comparison, and once again, the same story, guys. Shawn Ray doesn't look as freaky as he did, and the other one looks like he probably had more oil on, but Dorian just wasn't the best in the most muscular pose. But then again, I'm not sure if it was a mandatory pose back then or if it was judged. You guys can let me know in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure you will, but and yeah, Shawn Ray just honestly destroys him. But I mean, if we had a side-by-side, because these aren't side-by-sides, they're actually just collaged together, it may be a different story. And we're actually going to take a look at another most muscular pose, because why not? I mean, we're revisiting the competition, so may as well take a look at everything that we have. Seems like Dorian Yates mostly just hits the hands class most muscular, but this honestly is my favorite of Dorian Yates out of the three. I'm not sure if it's because it's in black and white or what, but Shawn Ray definitely hit an amazing most muscular in any of them. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, maybe if they were side by side and we actually had a side by side comparison, Dorian would get the best of him. But it looks like Shawn Ray will win pretty much any most muscular against Dorian Yates. And we're going to take a look at a couple of other just random photos I found from the competition, because why not? Even though these guys aren't all hitting the same pose. And it's just amazing to see. Look at Kevin Levrone, the Maryland muscle machine. Look at the midsection. Look at the depths. Oh my God, he's just he just makes it look like Dorian and Shawn Ray is not even standing up there on stage. Your eyes are immediately drawn to Kevin Levrone, man. He's insane. And for some reason, his lower body wasn't that conditioned this year. But if it was, could this have been a comparison between maybe Kevin Levrone and Dorian Yates, or Kevin Levrone and Shawn Ray? And this is another just random photo. Shawn Ray, of course, looking like a freak in that most muscular, making sure his triceps are shown. This is a pose Dorian honestly hit a lot. Phil Heath hits it. Dennis Wolf does as well. But something that I noticed of recently, and there's no hate towards Dorian. Dorian's legs don't look the best in this pose, so I'm not sure why he used to hit it so much. And that's Paul DeLette there just trying to get in between them, probably about to hit the same pose as Dorian. Paul DeLette, also a freak, also a legend. He just never really gave 100%. I've heard stories that Shawn Ray said he used to pose laying down on the floor. But another photo, it's a lot of most musculars in here. A lot of shots of Dorian hitting the most muscular, even though he wasn't the best in his pose. And you guys can see here, Kevin Levrone, king of the most muscular, man. Just insane. Paul DeLette is an absolute freak, but once again, he's not all the way into this pose. Look at his delts, man. And one thing about Paul DeLette that jumped out to me always was his rear delts. His rear delts almost look fake. But coming to a conclusion for this video, do I believe Shawn Ray was robbed at the 1994 Mr. Olympia? With Shawn Ray being one of my top 2 favorite bodybuilders of all time, I do not believe Shawn Ray was robbed at the 1994 Mr. Olympia. He definitely brought an amazing package to this stage, but as a lot of people say, you have to knock out the champ, and I don't believe Shawn Ray knocked out Dorian Yates. I could see Shawn Ray winning, but especially with the way judging was back then. I know when Dorian came into the sport, a lot of athletes back then said it was some politics with Dorian being from the UK. He was having a lot of fans. Once he was becoming more popular, the sport was getting bigger, the sport was making more money. So politics could have played into Dorian winning, but I think only Dorian won because it was the Mr. Olympia. If it was any other competition, I believe Shawn Ray would have bested him at like a pro show, because Dorian Yates has lost to Momo Benaziza. I'm not sure exactly which competition it was, but I guarantee you they could have been in the same condition and the same exact shape, and Momo would not have won at that Mr. Olympia competition. So I do not believe Shawn Ray was robbed in 1994, but this was definitely one of Shawn Ray's best packages. I could have seen him winning, but I don't believe that he was robbed. So I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. I hope I didn't show too much bias or fanboyism towards Shawn Ray. I know a lot of you guys don't like him, but it is what it is. Shawn Ray does say a lot of stupid stuff, but he is one of the greatest physiques and one of the greatest posers to ever grace the stage of our sport. I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video, man. Like, comment, and sub. I'm out.